to score 6 runs, led by home runs by Yugo Hamakawa and Grant French, but never really were in a position to threaten the Reddies in the first game. So for the second game of our doubleheader, Henderson State will go with Danny Mitchell playing left field. Grayson Stevens will play first. Alec Lewis will bat third. He will be the designated hitter. Joe Myers will bat fourth and play shortstop. Batting fifth will be third baseman Caden Argenbright. Batting sixth will be right fielder Nick Butler. Batting seventh will be second baseman Logan Cowart. Batting eighth will be catcher Josh Aguilar. And batting ninth will be the center fielder Bryson Haskins. Matthew Baker will be on the mound to start the game for the Reddies. The Northwestern Rangers will try to get the split in the doubleheader by countering with Dylan Norson in left, Yugo Hamakawa at short, Dashiell Johnson in second, Marcus Page at third, Grant French in right. Batting sixth will be Blake Hoffman, the designated hitter. Batting seventh will be Parker Bass playing first. Batting ninth will be Jake White back at catcher. And batting ninth will be Brett Erickson at second base. And on the mound for the Rangers will be Ethan Swanson. So Ethan Swanson ready to start us off by facing Danny Mitchell here in the top of the first for the Reddies. Here's the first pitch from Swanson. Mitchell lines up to bunt and pushes it foul. And our second game of the doubleheader is underway. Ethan Swanson, of course, former Gold Bug from Alva, making his fifth appearance on the season. He's pitched 14 innings, struck out 15, walked 8. So here's the 0-1 pitch to Danny Mitchell, and Mitchell's going to take that for ball 1. Mitchell, not much of a factor in the first game of the doubleheader. He's going to look at ball 2 there. Didn't really have a hit until the top of the ninth for Henderson. Here's the pitch by Swanson. Swung on and missed. There's strike 2. Swanson's got the ability to miss a lot of bats, as they say. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Danny Mitchell. And that's going to be high for ball 3. So 3-2 the count. Rangers trying to split the doubleheader here and take the series. Here's the pitch from Swanson. And that's just fouled off by Mitchell. Keep the count at 3-2. Swanson gets the sign. Here's the windup, the payoff pitch. And Mitchell's going to hit it foul. Norson's going to try to track it down over there and left, but it's going to get out of play. And the count's going to remain at 3-2. So here's Ethan Swanson. Here's the payoff pitch. And Mitchell's going to take ball 4. That's going to bring up Grayson Stevens.
Next to the Reddies. First base is number 26. Grayson Stevens.
Stevens also had a hard time in the first game, going 1 for 6 with 4 groundouts. Swanson, here's the pitch. And that catches the inside corner for strike 1. Swanson threw 8 pitches in the first at-bat to Danny Mitchell before he finally lost him on walks. Here's in, gets the sign from catcher Jake White, checks the runner at first. Here's the windup and the 0-1 pitch. And that's going to be low and inside for ball 1. So 1-1 the count. Runner on first. Top of the first. Here's the pitch. And that's slapped into right field for a base hit. So that'll bring up Alec Lewis.
Number 19.
Alec Lewis homered in the first game. He's got 4 hits in the series so far. Now there's runners on first and second, nobody out. Swanson with the pitch, and that's going to be inside for strike one. So 0-1 the count to Alec Lewis. Swanson gets the sign, checks the runner at second, checks him again. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be a little too inside. Bring the count to 1-1. Swanson gets the sign he wants, checks the runner at second. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And that nips the outside corner for strike two. So 1-2 the count. Runners on first and second, nobody out. In the Henderson State top of the first. Here's the check. Here's this pitch. And inside for ball two. 15 pitches already for Ethan. Thrown 8 of them for strikes. Two and 2 is the count. Nobody out. 2 runners on. Checks the runner second. Here's the pitch. And he checked his swing, and the umpire says he held up. So that's going to bring the count to 3-2. Swanson checks the runner second. Here's the payoff pitch. Runner breaks for third. Swung on and missed for strike 3. But meanwhile, Danny Mitchell takes third.
Next, the shortstop, number 3, Joe Myers.
So Joe Myers is going to step up to the plate. Runners now on first and third, but now there's 1 out, so the double play possibility is in effect. Here's the pitch. And Myers is going to look at strike 1. So 0-1 the count. Swanson's about to throw his 19th pitch of the inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that's going to be outside for ball 1. So 1-1's the count. Swanson gets the sign that he wants. Here's the pitch. And that's just going to be a little number up the third base side. Marcus Page is there. He fires to home. Jake White applies the tag. And they cut Mitchell down. There's 2 outs. That's about as nicely played as you could ask for in that situation by Marcus Page and Jake White.
Now batting third baseman, number 6, Hayden Argenbright.
Well, that'll bring up Caden Argenbright. And the first pitch is a strike. Argenbright had himself a really nice first game in the opening game of this doubleheader. Here's the pitch. That's going to be slapped foul. And Swanson's going to be ahead in the count, 0-2. There's runners on first and second. 2 outs now, 0-2 count to Caden Argenbright. Good looking third baseman for the Reddies. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And just a bit outside for ball 1. So 1-2 the count. Swanson shakes off a sign. Here's the pitch. It's going to be way inside for a ball. And it's going to bring the count to 2-2. 2-2 the count. Swanson checks the runner at second. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that's going to be inside for ball 3. So now the count is full. You've got runners on first and second. 2 outs in the top of the first. The score is 0-0. Here's the pitch. And he called him out on strike 3. Argenbright was halfway down to third, but he's called out. Swanson gets the job done.
Halfway through the first.
Henderson State gets no runs on 1 hit.
0 errors.
We go to the bottom of the first. Score tied 0-0. On the mound for Henderson State in the second game of this doubleheader is going to be Matthew Baker. Baker's making his 5th appearance on the season. He's pitched 19 1/3 innings. Given up 21 hits, 6 walks. Opponents are hitting .276 off of him early in the season. Got a 4.19 ERA. And he will face Norson, Hamakawa, and Dashiell Johnson to lead off the game for the Rangers.
For the Rangers, midfielder number 27, Dylan Norson.
So Norson takes a couple of practice cuts, steps up to the plate to face Matthew Baker. Here's the first pitch from Baker. And Norson takes strike 1. So 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Baker. And Norson looks at strike 2. Game plan for Henderson State as far as their pitching goes has been pretty clear. They've gone right after these Northwestern hitters. They've thrown a lot of strikes and thrown a lot of strikes early in at bats. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Norson looks at ball 1. Rangers struck out collectively as a team 10 times in the first game. Did manage to score 6 runs. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Baker. That's going to be outside for ball 2. Rangers, for their part, have been patient in the series. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Norson goes down swinging, and that's the first out of the inning. So, 1 out for the Rangers. That'll bring up Yugo Hamakawa. Hamakawa homered in the first game of the doubleheader.
Yugo Hamakawa.
Hamakawa hitting right around 400 on the season. Here's the first pitch from Baker. And Hamakawa takes strike 1. So here's Baker with the 0-1 pitch. And that slider didn't quite cut across enough. Stays outside. Hamakawa looks at ball 1. So 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Baker. And that's way inside for a ball. Hamakawa did a nice job of getting out of the way of that one. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Matthew Baker. And Hamakawa fouls it off. And it's going to move the count to 2-2. Here's Baker with the 2-2 pitch. And Hamakawa lifts it to center. Haskins has got a read on it, settles under it for the easy catch. And there are 2 gone.
Up next for the 2 outs.
So that'll bring up Dashel Johnson.
Dashel Johnson.
Dash had a couple of hits in the first game of the doubleheader. Looking to continue his good start to the season. Here's the first pitch from Baker. And Dashel's going to take strike 1. Here's Baker with the 0-1 pitch. And that's outside for ball 1. So 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Baker. And Dashel's going to reach out and slap that into right field. Butler's got a read on it. Settles under it, makes the catch. And the Rangers are retired in order. So we go to the second. Score tied 0-0. So Ethan Swanson back out for the second inning. Good job pitching out of trouble in the first. Aided by a nifty play from Marcus Page on a ground ball hit to third where he threw the runner out at home. Swanson will face Nick Butler, who's going to lead off the second for the Reddies. Left-handed right fielder for Henderson State. Here's the first pitch from Swanson. And that's going to be low for ball 1. Ethan threw 26 pitches in the first inning. Probably a little high. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that's going to be taken for strike 1. Ethan now has thrown 28 pitches, 15 of them for strikes. And here's the 1-1 pitch. And that's going to be low for ball 2. So 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Swanson. And Butler's going to look at ball 3. Three and 1 the count to Nick Butler. Here's the pitch from Swanson. And that gets over for strike 2. Of course, Ethan finished the game with a really nice pitch to Caden Argenbright to strike him out looking to end the first. Here's the windup in the pitch from Swanson. And that ball's hit to center field. That's going to be a base hit. And Butler's going to round first. He's going to go to second. Here's Dashel with the throw. And oh! Mishandled by Hamakawa. And Nick Butler's going to get in with a sliding double. Good throw by Dashel Johnson. Just couldn't handle it on the back end. Now you've got a leadoff double. That's going to bring up Logan Cowart. Logan Cowart was a sub in the first game of the doubleheader. Didn't start the game for the Reddies. Swanson fires back to second, but Nick Butler is back in time. Logan Cowart's hitting .417 on the season. Came in today hitting .417 anyway. Not a lot of at-bats, only 12 so far. But he's made the most of them. Here's the pitch. Squares up to bunt. Pulls back. Takes strike one. So 0-1 the count to Logan Cowart. Swanson gets the pitch that he wants. Here's the windup. And the 0-1 pitch. Squares up to bunt. Misses. He's going to take off to third, and he's going to get there. Nick Butler going to end up with a steal of third. Marcus was playing up to field the bunt, and the runner was able to just kind of sneak in behind him. So now you've got a runner on third with nobody out. 0-2 is the count to Logan Cowart. Corner's playing in just a little bit. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Swanson fools him. Cowart looks at strike three. So that's going to bring up Josh Aguilar. Aguilar didn't play in the first game of the doubleheader, but he did play last night. Had a couple of hits. Raised his batting average. It was .250 coming into last night. Raised it to .278. Here's the first pitch from Swanson taken for ball one. Infield playing in, assuming that if there's contact that Butler's going to try to score from third. Here's the pitch from Swanson. And Aguilar's going to take that for strike one. Umpire's giving a lot of leeway on that inside portion of the plate to these pitchers. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Swanson. And Aguilar is going to hit it to left field. Back on it is Norson. He's still back on it, and that ball is going to get out of here. And Josh Aguilar is going to put the Reddies up by a score of 2-0. Opposite field shot. Got it up in the jet stream. And it's 2-0 Henderson State. A lot of these home runs today have been opposite field home runs.
Home run by Aguilar, center fielder number 7.
That's going to bring up Bryson Haskins. Here's the first pitch from Swanson. Haskins hits it right back to the pitcher. Swanson fields it cleanly. Fires over to first, and there's one out. I'm sorry, there's two outs. So that'll bring up Matthew Baker. No, it will not. Matthew Baker is the pitcher. That's going to get us back to Danny Mitchell. Mitchell walked his first at bat. Swanson about to throw pitch number 40 in the second. And Mitchell's going to look at ball one. The windup in the pitch. And Mitchell will take that for a strike. So 1-1's the count. Two outs. Top of the second. Here's the pitch. And that pitch is going to miss low and inside. Bring the count to 2-1. It's 2-0. Henderson State leading the Rangers. Here's the pitch from Swanson. That's going to be taken for a ball. And it's going to bring the count to 3-1. 2-0 Henderson State on the strength of a 2-run home run by Josh Aguilar. Here's the payoff pitch from Swanson. That's going to be taken for strike two. And it's going to bring the count full. So 3-2 is the count. Here's the pitch. That's inside for ball four. And Danny Mitchell is going to earn his second walk in this game. Well, that's going to bring up Grayson Stevens. Stevens singled in his first at bat.
Number 26, Grayson Stevens.
Here's the pitch from Swanson. That's inside for strike one. Ethan about to throw pitch number 47 here in the second. Fires back to first, and Butler is back safely. Or Mitchell is back safely, excuse me. So 0-1 the count. Grayson Stevens up to bat. Here's the pitch from Swanson. Runner takes off for second. Here's the throw by White, and he's not going to get him. And that's going to be a stolen base for Danny Mitchell. So 1-1's the count. 2 outs in the top of the second. Runner on second. Grayson Stevens up to bat, facing Ethan Swanson. Here's the pitch from Swanson. And Stevens is going to foul it off. So 1-2 the count. Runner on second. Rangers trailing this one in the top of the second by a score of 2-0. Here's the pitch from Swanson. And that's going to be low inside. Ball 2. So 2-2's the count. Runner on second. Swanson gets the sign, checks the runner at second. Here's the windup in the pitch, and that's inside for a ball. No, it's not. That's a called strike 3. Okay, well, there you go. So, Henderson State strikes for 2. They lead this one 2-0 going to the bottom of the second. Marcus Page is going to lead things off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the second, trailing 2-0 after the 2-run home run by Josh Aguilar. Face Matthew Baker. Here's the first pitch from Baker. Marcus's first pitch swinging, and that's going to get through for a base hit. So the Rangers get their leadoff man on. That'll bring up Grant French. Grant homered in the first game of the doubleheader. So here's the pitch. And French is going to look at strike 1. Baker fires over to first. Marcus Page is back. And the pitch from Matthew Baker to Grant French. French is taken for ball 1. Fires over to first. Page is back. So 1-1's the count. Rangers have a runner on first, trailing in this game 2-0 in the bottom of the second. Grant French up to the bat. Baker checks the runner. And here's the 1-1 pitch. That's outside, taken for ball 2. So 2-1's the count. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be high and inside for ball 3. Grant French doing a good job of making Matthew Baker work in this at bat. Be Blake Hoffman on deck for the Rangers. Here's the 3-1 pitch. And French will take that for ball 4. So the Rangers have something cooking here as Blake Hoffman comes to the plate. Runners on first and second. Nobody out for the Rangers, trailing this one 2-0. Marcus Page reached base by benefit of a ground ball single. Grant French is on first after drawing a walk. Blake Hoffman trying to add his season RBI totals. Here's the first pitch. And Hoffman will look at strike 1. So 0-1's the count. Baker checks the runner second. Here's the pitch. And high for ball 1. So 1-1 the count. Baker gets the sign. Sets, checks the runner at second. And here's the pitch. And Baker puts it right at the middle for a base hit. Marcus Page is going to score. And the Rangers are going to cut into the Henderson State lead. It's now 2-1.
All right, guys, Eagles are on. Going to bring up first baseman number 35, Parker Base.
So that'll bring up Parker Base. Rangers still with 2 on. Nobody out. Baker checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be high for ball 1. Rangers doing a good job making Baker work in this bottom of the second. 1-0 is the count. Here's the pitch from Baker. And that's going to be taken for a strike. So 1-1 the count. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Baker. And Parker's going to check his swing, but that's going to be called a strike. That's going to be strike 2. So 1-2 the count now to Parker Base. Baker checks the runner. And Base is going to hit a grounder out to second base. Logan Coward is up with it, gets the runner at second, gets the runner at first, and that's a double play. The runner does advance to third, but that's sacrificing 2 outs to get him over there.
Up next for the Rangers, the catcher number 9, Jake White.
That'll bring up Jake White. Now there's 2 outs. Jake White's going to look at strike 1. Runner on third, Grant French. Here's the pitch from Baker. And White got fooled on that one. He swings and misses. And that's going to bring the count to 0-2. So here's the 0-2 pitch from Matthew Baker. And that's profoundly outside for ball 1. So 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch from Baker. And Jake White's going to foul that off. One-two pitch, swung on and missed for strike 3. Rangers do manage to get a run. They cut that lead in half. It's 2-1 going to the third. Alec Lewis will lead things off for Henderson State. So we go to the top of the third with the Reddies leading the Rangers by a score of 2-1. Ethan Swanson still on the mound for the Rangers. Here's the first pitch, and that is lifted foul. Norson and Page go back, but that ball is going to get back into the Ranger bullpen. So it really amounts to nothing more to an 0-1 count. Swanson gets the sign. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And he's going to miss with that backdoor slider. Bring the count to 1-1. Here's the pitch. And Swanson misses there. Bring the count to 2-1. So 2-1 to the Henderson State designated hitter. And he's going to take strike two. So 2-2 the count. Swanson gets the sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's going to be fouled off. Count's going to remain at 2-2. Swanson with a 2-2 pitch. And Lewis is going to look at ball three. So 3-2 is the count. Nobody on here in the top of the third. No outs. Henderson State leading this one by a score of 2-1. Here's the payoff pitch from Swanson. That's going to be inside for a ball. And Alec Lewis is going to reach first via the walk. It's going to bring up Joe Myers, who hit into a fielder's choice, his first at bat.
Number 3, Joe Myers.
So now you've got a runner on first with nobody out. Top of the third, Henderson State leading 2-1. Jake White sets the infield. Did a good job as senior catcher. Here's Swanson with the first pitch to Joe Myers, who swings on it. Nice little chopper to third. Marcus Page over to Erickson for one, and over to Parker Base at first for two, and that is how you draw it up. Perfect 5-4-3 double play.
Due up, third baseman, number 6, Caden Ardenberg.
First pitch, and they're going to say that Parker Base came off the bag. one of those plays that happens in baseball sometimes. So Caden Argenbright's going to reach first on a single. That's going to bring up Nick Butler. Butler is 1 for 1 in the game. He hit a double his first time up.
Next for the Reddies, right fielder, number 20, Nick Butler.
So the Reddies have a runner on first, 2 outs. Top of the third, Swanson gets the sign, checks the runner at first. Here's the windup in the pitch, and the first pitch is a called strike 1. So 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Swanson. That's swung on and missed. Bring the count to 0-2. Swanson fires over to first. Back easily is Caden Argenbright. Swanson with the 0-2 pitch. That's going to be inside. It's going to get away from Jake White, and Argenbright is going to take second. So now you've got a runner on second. Count is 1-2. Swanson checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And Nick Butler's going to foul that one off. Keep the count at 1-2. One and two the count. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be inside for ball 2. Swanson gets the sign, checks the runner at second. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. And with that, the Henderson State Reddies are retired. We go to the bottom of the third. The Reddies lead this one 2-1. Brett Erickson is going to lead things off for the Rangers in the bottom of the third, facing Matthew Baker. And here's the first pitch from Baker. And Erickson's going to look at ball 1. Erickson robbed of an extra base hit by Argenbright in the first game of the doubleheader. Swings there, fouls it off. So 1-1's the count. Here's the pitch. And Erickson's going to look at strike 2. Baker with a 1-2 pitch. And Erickson's going to look at ball 2. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch from Baker. And Erickson tried to hold up his swing. He's unable to. He's going to be down on strikes.
Back to the top of the Rangers. Left fielder, number 27.
That'll bring up Dylan Norson. Norson's 0 for 1. Struck out swinging back in the first. Tries to get something working here for the Rangers. Here's the pitch from Baker. And that's going to be low for ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Baker. And Norson takes strike 1. The 1-1 pitch. Chopper hit to second base. Cowart's there. Fires to first. And there's 2 outs. So that's going to bring up Yugo Hamakawa. Hamakawa flied out to center field in his first at bat. And the first pitch from Will Baker. Hamakawa swings and misses for strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And Hamakawa's going to take that for ball 1. Baker's going to miss with that one. That's going to bring the count to 2-1. There's 2 outs here in the bottom of the third for the Rangers. Yugo Hamakawa at the plate. Here's the pitch. And Hamakawa's going to chop that one foul. Bring the count to 2-2. Baker gets the sign. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Hamakawa slaps that to first. But over there is Grayson Stephen. He fields it cleanly, steps on the bag, and there's 3 outs. So the Rangers unable to score in that inning. We go to the top of the 4th with Henderson State leading this one by a score of 2-1. Logan Cowart leading off for Henderson State in the 4th. Here's Swanson with the 2-0 pitch. And that's going to bounce in for ball 3. So 3-0 the count. Swanson with the 3-0 pitch. Cowart's going to look at strike 1. Josh Aguilar on deck for the Reddies. Here's the pitch. And Cowart's going to draw a walk. Aguilar hit a 2-run
Now batting the pitcher.
bomb in the second. That's been the scoring for Henderson State in this second game of the doubleheader. Swanson about to throw pitch number 71. He's had to labor through this one a little bit. Here's the pitch to Aguilar, and that's inside. The count's 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Swanson. Fires back to first, and oh, that was close. Logan Coward just barely back in. And that was close. But 1-0 still the count to Josh Aguilar, the catcher for the Reddies. Here's the pitch from Swanson. Swung on and missed. That's a strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Swanson. Fires over to first. And Coward back in again. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Aguilar is going to look at ball 2. So 2-1 the count. Swanson, I thought he had him that time, but base unable to come up with the throw. He's been close on a couple of occasions of picking Lowe and Coward off at first base. And the count's 2-1 to Josh Aguilar. Here's the pitch. Aguilar swings, hits it to left. Norson's back there, easy catch, and there's one away. Coward gets back to first. Aguilar hit that one hard, but it was right at Dylan Norson. That's going to bring up Bryson Haskins. Haskins is 0 for 1, grounded out to the pitcher in his first at bat. Now there's 1 out in the top of the 4th. Runner still on first. And we're going to get a visit from Coach Bowen. In to pitch for the Rangers is going to be Kobe Spicer. Spicer's going to be making his 5th appearance on the season. He's pitched 6 1/3 innings. Only given up 4 runs. Hasn't walked a batter yet, or he's only given up 4 hits, excuse me. Hasn't walked a batter, and he struck out 10 in 6 1/3. He'll face Bryson Haskins with a runner on first. 1 out. Here's the pitch from Spicer, and that's going to be taken for strike 1. Opponent's only hitting 190 off Spicer this year. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Runner takes off for second. White up with the throw, and they got him. Logan Cowart, trying to take second on a steal, is gunned down by the howitzer arm of Jake White. Now 1 out, or 2 outs, excuse me. And that changes the complexion of the inning immediately. The count is 1-2. And here's the pitch from Spicer. I think they're going to say he got a tip. I'm sorry, it wasn't 1-2. It was 2-1. Now it's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Haskins is going to look at ball 3. So Spicer with the payoff pitch. And he got him. Strike 3. Nicely done by Kobe Spicer to come in and get the big strikeout. Henderson State unable to score in the 4th. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Raiders trailing this one 2-1. Well, Dashiell Johnson will lead things off for the Rangers in the bottom of the 4th. Dash is 0 for 1 today. Flied out to right field. Matthew Baker's still on the mound for the Reddies. And here's the pitch to Dash. And Dash takes strike 1. Here's Baker with the 0-1 pitch. Dash fouls it off. Move the count to 0-2. Oh, 2 pitch from Baker. Dash puts it right back up the middle. That's going to get in for a base hit. And the Rangers have it cooking now with Marcus Page coming up to bat. Dashiell Johnson on first. Marcus is 1 for 1 on the day with a single. See if he can get something going with Dash on first. Here's the first pitch from Baker. That's taken for ball 1. So 1-0 the count. Baker checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch. Marcus hits it out to short. Myers is up with it, fires to second. They're going to get Dashel. Marcus is going to be safe at first.
Up next for the Rangers, right fielder, number 20, Grant French.
I'll bring up Grant French. French is 0 for, well, it doesn't have an official at bat because he's got a walk. Taking the first pitch there for a ball. So the count's 2-0 to Grant French. Here's the pitch from Baker. And French is going to take strike one. The count's 2-1. There's one out. Runner on first. Raiders trail this one 2-1 in the bottom of the fourth. Baker checks the runner. Now fires over. Marcus is back safely. Baker checking the runner. Here's the pitch. And little chopper hit to second base. Coward up with it. Fires to first. And Grant French is retired, but Marcus, meanwhile, is going to advance to second.
Well, up next for the Rangers, designated hitter, number 12, Blake.
So that'll bring up Blake Hoffman. Hoffman's 1 for 1 in this game with a single. Now there's 2 outs, runner on second. Raiders trailing this one 2-1. Here's the pitch from Baker. And that catches the inside corner for strike one. If the Raiders can extend the inning, Parker Bass will have a shot at it next. Now Matthew Baker checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. And that's going to bring the count to 0-2. So 0-2 is the count. Baker checks the runner at second. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And that's lined. It's going to be off the glove of Logan Coward, who manages to come up and fires to first, but Blake Hoffman runs that one out. That's going to be an infield single. Meanwhile, Marcus Page is going to get over to third. So that'll bring up Parker Bass. Bass is 0 for 1. He grounded out to second baseman Logan Cowart in his first at bat. Now the Rangers have runners on first and third, 2 outs, trailing this game 2-1. Here's the first pitch from Baker. That's swung on, and that is hit far, and that is hit way far off the wall. 1 run's going to score. Blake Hoffman's rounding third. He's coming home to score. Here's the throw. It's not able to be handled, and the Rangers, just like that, with a triple from Parker Bass, they jump out in this one. They now lead this thing 3-2. What a shot that was from Parker Bass. Fantastic job hitting and driving the ball.
Now batting number 9, Jake White.
And that's going to bring up Jake White. Now the Rangers lead this thing 3-2. The Reddies are getting someone up in their bullpen. Here's the first pitch to Jake White. That's going to be taken for ball 1. Three to 2's the score now. Here's the pitch from Baker. And that's going to be taken for a ball. And it's now 2-0. Here's the pitch. And that thing is hit high and deep, but foul. Way foul. Bring the count to 2-1. Here's the pitch from Baker. And White looks at ball 3. So 3-1 the count. Parker Base is on third base. Rangers lead 3-2 with 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that ball's going to be fouled off. Rangers have struck and struck quickly here in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that's going to be taken for ball 4. So that's going to bring up Brett Erickson. Erickson is 0 for 1 in this game. He struck out swinging in his first at bat.
Brett Erickson.
So now the Rangers have runners on first and third. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th, leading this one by a score of 3-2. Here's the pitch from Baker. Then Erickson, his first pitch swing, and that's hit out into the gap. Long run for the right fielder, Nick Butler, but he manages to track it down. So the Rangers will be retired, but they do strike for 2 runs, and they lead this thing now 3-2. We're going to the top of the 5th. Well, Kobe Spicer returns to the mound for the Rangers, and he's going to face Danny Mitchell to lead things off. Mitchell does not have official at bat in this game because he's walked twice.
Number 33, Danny Mitchell.
Rangers scored 2 in the bottom of the 4th to take a 3-2 lead, and so what you really want here, obviously, is you want to retire the Reddies and get that shutdown inning. Here's the first pitch from Spicer. And Mitchell looks at strike 1. So 0-1 the count. Spicer sets. Here's the windup in the pitch. And Mitchell's going to look at strike 2. So 0-2 the count. Rangers leading 3-2. Spicer sets. Here's the windup in the pitch. That's going to be a little low for ball 1. So 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. That'll bring up Grayson Stevens. Stevens is 1 for 2. He has struck out and singled in this game.
Number 26, Grayson Stevens.
That is the 7th strikeout in this game for the Ranger pitchers. 5 for Ethan Swanson. That's Spicer's 2nd on the game. Here's the first pitch to Stevens. That's swung on And that's going to hit deep, and French is going back, but that is not going to be far enough because that thing's going to leave the yard. So Grayson Stevens gets the ding-dong there. And Henderson State is going to tie this thing up 3-3.
Designated hitter, number 19, Alec Lewis.
Well, that's going to bring up Alec Lewis. Lewis is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Here's the pitch from Spicer, and that's going to be strike 1. So 0-1 is the count. Here's the pitch from Spicer. That's going to be high for a ball. So 1-1 is the count to Alec Lewis. And that ball is hit to center. Dashiell Johnson's on it. Got the read, got the out. And there's 2 gone. And that'll bring up Joe Myers.
Now batting, the shortstop, number 3, Joe Myers.
Myers is 0 for 2 in the game, hit into a fielder's choice and grounded out. Spicer facing Myers. There's 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Remember, this being the second game of a doubleheader, only 7 innings, assuming there's no extra innings. First pitch from Spicer is going to be low and outside for ball 1. Spicer sets. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that's going to be strike 1. So 1-1 the count. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And a little excuse me swing there from Joe Myers is going to result in a foul ball. It's going to get the count to 1-2. Caden Argenbright on deck for Henderson State. 1-2 the count to Joe Myers. Here's the pitch from Spicer. And that's called strike 3. Absolutely fooled him. And the Rangers do surrender a run, but we go to the bottom of the 5th with this game tied up 3-3. So Dylan Norson will lead things off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 5th. Matthew Baker still on the mound for Henderson State. Norson is 0 for 2 in the game so far. He has struck out and he grounded out to second baseman Logan Coward in his last at bat.
Number 27, Dylan Norson.
Rangers scored 2 runs in the 4th to tie it. Here's the first pitch from Baker. Norson fouls it off for strike 1. So 0-1 the count to Dylan Norson. And here's the 0-1 pitch. Dylan's going to look at that for ball 1. And Norson's going to get this into left field. That's going to be a seeing eye ground ball, but it's going to get through for a single. And the Rangers have something cooking.
Did you get the substitution?
In to pitch for Henderson State is going to be Cade Tucker. This is going to be the 6th appearance for Cade. He does have 1 save on the season. Doesn't have any wins or losses. He's pitched in 6 2/3 innings. Only given up 3 hits. Hasn't walked a batter yet, but struck out 7. And opponents are only hitting 125 off of him. And he'll face Yugo Hamakawa to start things off here. Yugo's 0 for 2 in this game with a fly out and a ground out. So we'll see how he does against the right-handed Cade Tucker. So here's the first pitch from Tucker to Hamakawa. And Hamakawa is going to look at ball 1. So Dylan Norson on first. Nobody out for the Rangers in the bottom of the 5th. Score tied 3-3. Here's the pitch from Tucker. Hamakawa chops that one foul. Pull the count to 1-1. So 1-1's the count. Tucker checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch to Hamakawa. Hamakawa squares up to bunt. He does get it down. That's a pretty good bunt. Aguilar fields it. He's going to throw Hamakawa out, but meanwhile, Norson's going to move to second on the sacrifice bunt.
Sacrifice by Hamakawa brings up center fielder, number 2, Dashel Johnson.
So that'll bring up Dashel Johnson. Dash is 1 for 2 on the game, singled in his last at bat. Now the Rangers, with 1 out, have a runner on second in a tied ball game. Here's the pitch to Dashel. He's going to look at ball 1. So 1-0 the count to the Rangers center fielder. Tucker checks the runner second. Here's the pitch. And Dash is going to take strike 1. 1-1 the count. Tucker gets the sign, sets, checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And Dashiell's going to flare it into right field, but nice job by Grayson Stevens to come over and catch it. And boy, Dylan Norson just did barely beat the throw back. It's a little bit of unluck there for Dashiell as he gets the opposite field flare, but a nice running catch from Grayson Stevens robbed him of a hit. Well, that'll bring up Marcus Page. Marcus is 1 for 2 on the game. He singled in his first at bat, hit into a fielder's choice in his next at bat. But now there's 2 outs, still a runner on second. Tucker gets the sign and sets, checks the runner at second. Here's the pitch to Marcus. Marcus swings and misses for strike 1. So 0-1 the count to Marcus Page, the Rangers leader in home runs and RBIs. Tucker with the pitch, and that's outside for ball 1. Three runs on 5 hits for Henderson State, 3 runs on 6 hits for the Rangers. Tucker on the mound for the Reddies. Sets, checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And just misses inside to Marcus Page. The count goes to 2-1. So 2-1's the count. Tucker gets the sign, sets, checks the runner at second. Here's the pitch to Marcus Page. That's going to be outside for a ball. That's going to make the count 3-1. If Marcus can continue the inning, Grant French will bat next. Nope, looks like it's going to be Preston Lonadier who is in the on-deck circle for the Rangers. So Preston Lonadier will have the opportunity. Here's the pitch from Tucker. And that one's going to be called a strike. So now the count is 3-2. Runner on second, 2 outs. The bottom of the 5th, Marcus Page at the plate, facing Cade Tucker of the Reddies. Tucker gets the sign, sets, checks the runner. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that's swung on and missed for strike 3. The Rangers get a runner in scoring position, but can't do anything from there. And on a huge pitch from Cade Tucker, the Rangers are retired. We go to the top of the 6th. Henderson State 3, Northwestern State Rangers 3. On the mound now for the Rangers is going to be Caleb Honey. Caleb's going to be making his 6th appearance. He's pitched 8 games. He's got 3 saves. In 8 innings pitched, he's surrendered 5 hits and only 1 walk and only 1 run, and he struck out 10. So Caleb comes in trying to shut things down for the Rangers. We've also got Preston Lonadier, who is now in third. Dylan Norson moves to right, and Dashiell Johnson moves to left. Argenbright is up to bat for Henderson State. He's going to take strike 1. He's 1 for 2 in the game. He was called out on strikes, and he singled. Here's the pitch from Honey, and that's going to be taken for ball 1. So 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch, and that ball's hit right back up the middle for a base hit. And Caden Argenbright continues to pester the Rangers pitching staff. They've just had a really hard time today getting him out.
Number 20.
Well, that's going to bring up Nick Butler. Butler is 1 for 2 on the game. He doubled in his first at bat and struck out in his second. And so Caleb Honey gets ready to face the right fielder. And the first pitch to Butler squares up to bunt and pushes it foul for strike 1. So 0-1 the count to Nick Butler. Henderson State has a runner on first. And Butler's going to stroll back. Oh and 1 the count. Honey sets. Here's the pitch. And Butler's going to foul that one off for strike 2. So 0-2 the count. Runner on first. Honey sets. Here's the pitch. And Butler's going to take ball 1. So 1-2 the count. Honey shakes off a sign, checks the runner, sets. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that's hit to Erickson at second. Over to Hamakawa at short for 1. Over to Parker Base at first. And that is a double play. Nicely done. So just like that, the bases are cleared. That's going to bring up Logan Cowart. Cowart is 0 for 1 today with a walk and a strikeout. So the count goes to 0-2 to Daniel Colasanto. Colasanto had 4 hits in the first game of this doubleheader. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Honey. That's going to be outside for ball 1. And here's the 1-2 pitch from Honey. That's going to be swung on and fouled. If the inning continues for Henderson State, Josh Aguilar, the catcher, will be up next. He's got a 2-run homer in this game. Honey with the 1-2 count pitch to Colasanto, who takes ball 2. So 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and he got him. Strike 3. Nice looking backdoor slider from Caleb Honey, and he strikes him out. Henderson State unable to get a run across. We go to the bottom of the sixth. This game's tied up 3-3. Leading off for the Rangers will be Preston Lonadier, and he'll face Cade Tucker.
Now batting, number 13. Preston
Tucker pitched himself out of a pretty tough jam back in the bottom of the fifth. Managed to escape with no runs scored. Lonadier followed by Hoffman and Parker base. Here's the pitch, and Lonadier is going to take strike one. So 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. And that ball is ripped to left, and that's going to fall in for a hit. It's going to get past Mitchell. Mitchell's going to go back to try to find it. Meanwhile, Lonadier is going to get in with a double. And how do you do, Rangaroo? That's the way you start an inning, with a leadoff double. And that'll bring up Blake Hoffman. Hoffman's 2 for 2 in this game with 2 singles.
Blake Hoffman.
Rangers have set themselves up very nicely indeed with a leadoff double. Now you make contact anywhere to the right side of the field, and you can push that runner to third. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be taken for ball one. So 1-0 the count to Blake Hoffman. Cade Tucker on the mound for the Reddies. Game tied 3-3 at the bottom of the sixth. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And Hoffman's going to take ball two. Traditionally a fastball count. The pitcher doesn't want to go to 3-0 here, so he's usually going to throw something that he's really confident he can get a strike with. And so if you get a fastball that you can drive, this will be the time to drive it. Here's the pitch. And fastball hit right back up the middle. Lonadier had to hesitate. He's going to have to hold up at third because Haskins does a good job of getting that ball back in, and that ball was absolutely smoked to center field. That's going to be the third hit for Blake Hoffman. Right back up the middle. Perfect piece of hitting. That's going to bring up Parker base. Base is 1 for 2, and he tripled in his last at bat. It looks like we're going to get a pinch runner. Looks like it's going to be T.W. Beiswanger going to come in to run for Blake Hoffman.
Pinch running for the Rangers, number 7, T.W. Beiswanger.
So now the Rangers have runners on first and third. Cade Hootens are going to come out to visit with his pitcher. They do have a right-hander up in their bullpen. But there's nobody out. Rangers have runners on first and third with a chance here to push that go-ahead run across. So Cade Tucker will stay on the mound for the Reddies. Parker Bass is going to hit. The Rangers have some options here. It looks like they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Parker Bass. So that's going to load the bases for Jake White. Interesting decision here by the Reddies. They're obviously assuming that Jake White's going to hit a ground ball somewhere to the infield where they can cut the runner down at home. But if Jake White can get a ball lifted out into the outfield, or if he can get a flare over the infielder's head or a chopper or anything along those lines, he could score or knock in anyway the go-ahead run. Well, anyway, the bases are loaded. Here's the pitch to Jake White. He swings and misses for strike one. Nobody out. Tie game. Bottom of the sixth. High drama. Here we go. Cade Tucker gets the sign. I'm going to step up. Get a little dirt. Gets the sign from Aguilar. Sets. Here's the pitch. And Jake White flares it out to center field. Haskins is in on it. He's going to make the catch, but here comes Lonadier. And Lonadier is going to score as Aguilar can't come up with it. Meanwhile, they try to throw down to third. They can't get Beiswanger, who scoots to third. And that's just about perfect. That is just about perfect. Nice job. Nice job of base running. Nice job of hitting. Outstanding. So now the Rangers have runners on second and third. Now they lead 4-3. Brett Erickson comes to the plate. He has struck out and flown out. And the gamble by the Reddies looks like it might really hurt them here. The infield's still playing in. Here's the first pitch to Erickson. He squares up to bunt, misses. Everybody back. And here's the pitch. And Lonadier looks at strike one. So 1-1 the count. Lonadier gets the sign. Here's the windup and the 1-1 pitch. And Lonadier swings and misses. And that was the third strike.
Next for the Rangers, right fielder, number 27.
So that's going to bring up Dylan Norson. Runners on second and third. Norson is 1 for 3 on the game. He's singled. Struck out swinging and grounded out to the second baseman. Here's the pitch. And that's inside for ball one. So here's the 1-0 pitch from Tucker. Norson swings and misses. And that's strike one. 1-1 the count. Runners on second and third. 2 outs. Bottom of the sixth. Rangers leading 4-3. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Cade Tucker. And Norson looks at ball two. Here's Tucker with the 2-1 pitch. And Norson looks at ball two. Ball three. You go Hamakawa on deck for the Rangers. If Norson can get on base here. 3-1 count. Runners on second and third. Here's the pitch to Norson. And he takes ball four. And now the bases are going to be loaded for Yugo Hamakawa. Reddies don't appear to have anyone warming up in their bullpen now, as they're going to let Cade Tucker try to fight his way out of this. Amakawa. Here's the pitch. Swing and miss for strike one. So 0-1 is the count. Bases are loaded. Beiswanger on third. Parker on second. Dylan Norson on first. Here's the pitch from Tucker. And that's going to be inside. Ball one. One and one to count. Here's the pitch from Tucker. And Hamakawa's going to foul that one off. Going to bring the count to 1-2. Dashiell Johnson on base. If the Rangers can extend this, here's the pitch from Tucker. Amakawa takes a ball. 2-2 is the count. Bases are full. 2 outs. Rangers have taken the lead here in the bottom of the 6th. And now we're going to get a timeout. Bases loaded. 2-2 count. Yugo Hamakawa, Rangers leading hitter in terms of batting average at the plate. Here's the pitch. Right back up the middle, and the pitcher manages to get a glove on it, and that bails him out. As Daniel Calistano was in the right place at the right time and flips it over to second for the force out. That was one where the pitcher really did himself a big favor by managing to deflect the ball, because if he doesn't get out of that ball goes right up the middle for a base hit, and the Rangers score at least one. But the Rangers do get a run. They lead this one 4-3. We go to the 7th. It's honey time. So Caleb Honey comes out for the 7th and hopefully final inning. He will face Josh Aguilar. Aguilar is 1 for 2 with a home run back in the 2nd that scored 2 runs for the Reddies. Here's the first pitch from Honey, and Aguilar is going to take that for strike one. Rangers trying to split the doubleheader and take the series. If they can get 3 more outs in this inning without the Reddies scoring. Here's the pitch, and Aguilar turns on that one. Right fielder Dylan Norson is back. It gets away from him, and Aguilar is going to go for second, and he's going to get in with a double. And the Reddies have started this thing off with a leadoff double. So that'll bring up Bryson Haskins. Haskins is 0 for 2. He grounded out to the pitcher and struck out swinging. And we're going to have a pinch runner for Josh Aguilar. Looks like it's going to be number 34, Jake Dunn. Effort to get a little bit more speed on the base paths. So now the Reddies have a runner on second. Bryson Haskins up to bat. Nobody out. Rangers leading this one 4-3. Caleb Honey on the mound for the Rangers. Gets the sign from Jake White. Sets. Checks the runner at second. Here's the pitch. And Haskins squares up to bunt, but he pulls back, so that's going to be ball one. So 1-0 the count. Runner on second. Rangers leading this one 4-3. Here's the pitch from Honey. Squares up to bunt. That's actually popped foul. And that's going to be strike one. So 1-1 is the count. 3 runs on 7 hits for Henderson State, 4 runs on 8 hits for the Rangers. The Reddies of Henderson State have stranded 4 in this game. The Rangers have stranded 7. But the Rangers cling to a 1-run lead here in the top of the 7th. Haskins steps back into the batter's box. Honey gets the sign. Checks the runner at second. Fires back to second, but Dunn is back safely. Honey gets the sign. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Squares up to bunt, and that bunt is going to be foul. So that's going to move the count to 1-2. It'll be interesting to see if Midwestern keeps the bunt on here. What they're trying to do, obviously, is they're trying to move the runner to third. Danny Mitchell is the next batter up for Henderson State, and so you get to the top of your lineup, hoping that with 1 out and a runner on third, you can get him in. But Haskins having a hard time keeping the bunts fair here in this at-bat. Squares up again, pulls back. There's going to be ball 2. So 2-2 the count. Nobody out. Runner on second. Rangers leading this one 4-3. Caleb Honey on the mound for Northwestern. Gets the sign, checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And he hit him. Well, that is not the way you wanted that to go if you are the Rangers. So that's going to bring up Danny Mitchell after a visit from Coach Bowen. Make sure everybody's on the same page in terms of what they want to do here. So the Rangers have their game plan in place. Danny Mitchell steps up to the plate. He is 0 for 1 officially. He has walked twice. He has been struck out once. The Rangers pulling their corners in just a little bit. Here's the pitch from Honey. Mitchell gets down the foul of the bunt, and Honey fields it perfectly, fires over to Marcus Page, and Jake Dunn is out.
Now batting third baseman, number 26, Grayson Stevens.
So that'll bring up Grayson Stevens. Stevens is 2 for 3 in this game with a single and a home run. There's now 1 out. Runner still on first and second. Here's the pitch from Honey. And Stevens is going to look at ball 1. Stevens has had a good game at the plate here in the second game of this doubleheader. Did not have a good game at the plate in the first game. And he's going to foul that one off. And that's going to bring the count to 1-1. So 1-1 the count. You got Bryson Haskins at second, Danny Mitchell at first for Henderson State. Rangers clinging to a 4-3 lead. And Honey's going to miss with that one. It's going to bring the count to 2-1. So Honey with the 2-1 pitch. Just step off the mound, just take a glance back at second, but Bryson Haskins is back. Two and one the count. Grayson Stevens at bat. 2 runners on. Here's the pitch from Honey. And that's going to miss for ball 3. So 3-1 the count. There's 1 out in the top of the 7th. Rangers leading 4-3. Here's the pitch. And Grayson hits it high, but it's not particularly deep. Lot of deer underneath it. He's going to settle under it, make the catch. Here comes Haskins to third. Here comes the throw. It's not going to get there in time. So Haskins is going to get to third. Mitchell's going to hold up at first, but now there are 2 outs. So that'll bring Alec Lewis to the plate. He's 0 for 2. He has struck out. He has flown out to center field, and he has walked. You have runners on first and third. Rangers leading 4-3 in the top of the 7th with 2 outs. Caleb Honey on the mound. Here's the pitch. And Lewis is going to look at ball 1. Honey gets the sign, checks the runner at first. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. A very emphatic strike 1. Honey with the 1-1 pitch to Lewis, and that one is fouled off. And that's going to bring the count to 1-2. One and two the count. 2 outs. Honey against Lewis. Here's the pitch. High and outside. That's going to be a ball. And that moves the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 7th, Rangers leading 4-3. Runners on first and third. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Henderson State is sat down. Rangers take 2 out of 3 in this series, split the doubleheader today, but they get the split. In about as dramatic a setting as you could possibly hope for. Rangers score in the bottom of the 6th to take the lead, and then Caleb Honey comes in. Honey comes in the 6th, or the 7th rather, and comes in and shuts down Henderson State. And in the most dramatic form imaginable, gets the strikeout of Alec Lewis. And the Rangers are going to take 2 out of 3 from Henderson State. And they're going to travel next week. Try to keep this winning streak going as they continue to move up in the standings of the Great American Conference. Thank you so much for joining us. Rangers win 4-3 in the second half of this doubleheader. We'll see you later, everyone. Have a great evening.